many people lost the roof of their houses, and it took more than 2 months for FEMA to send those plastic blue covers. Yeah, they have said that they used all of them in Texas, in Florida, and they had nothing. So people had to wait for 2 months, no roof in your house. And I thought it was a good image because reality itself lost its roof. You could see Puerto Rico from above, and everything was visible. Oh my goodness, you're naked. Look at that. Since September the 20th, more than 100,000 people have left Puerto Rico. Mothers desperate with their kids, where are they going to go to school? Many. The airport has been 24/7, back and forth. So imagine you lost in 1 month 100,000 people. What happens with the public school system if they don't have students? What happens with the taxes the government collects from people who work? 100,000 left in 2 months, plus they have been living, like I told you, from 2006. 300,000 plus people have left. And when you drive around, every time I go, I always make comments to my mother and my friends, and they don't pay attention because they are accustomed to that. I'm the only one that reacts to that because I don't live there. But you drive around and you see empty houses all over the place. Empty shopping centers. I mean, you know what that does to the property value of your house? It goes all the way down. And it's very difficult to deal with that. Orlando, Florida, it's the place where most Maria Puerto Ricans have been going to. Florida is a red state, and they are already talking about how the presence of so many Puerto Ricans could turn it into a blue state. Kind of an unintended consequence of the Trump administration. Every day, they add more numbers to the death count. Okay. When Trump visited the island early in October, he humiliated the governor because he asked him, how many people have died? And that's less than a month after the hurricane, and like I told you, he was posting his photograph on Facebook. So he told him, I think the official count right now is 16. And Trump said, and you call this a tragedy? You don't know Katrina? This is not a tragedy. Every time they discover that more people died because of Maria. And it's kind of complicated. How do you determine if the person was killed by the hurricane? There's a whole process, okay? So they are adding numbers, unfortunately, and right now it's up to 1,000 people. Many stories you read on the newspaper of people who died horrible deaths. One person died in the middle of an operation because the operating room had no air conditioning and the person died of heat. And there are so many that I don't want to talk about them. I'm going to finish up turning this a little bit around. The good of the bad. Jose Marti was a Cuban poet who lived many years in New York. And he always liked the image of, hey, before the diamond, it's a diamond, it was charcoal. Okay? Before the diamond, diamante, diamond? Yeah. So the good of the bad, it's a choice that we need to access because it's there. It's not a lie. Some good things, unintended good things, have happened. The first and most important thing is that Maria brought about an incredible sense of solidarity. People in Puerto Rico, like every time people have to face disaster, they become closer. The Puerto Rican diaspora, people who live in the United States, went all the way to help those over there. Traditionally, the relationship between people in the island and the diaspora has friction, right? This is the first time that I see islanders celebrating the diaspora, because the diaspora is keeping them from starving, or the diaspora is putting them on the map. Incredible solidarity. The mayor of San Juan, Carmen Yurin, you probably know that she had a confrontation with Trump. She's been on The Simpsons, on every late night show. She said something like, guys, without you over there, we would not be here. So I want to thank you very much. Solidarity, diaspora Puerto Rico, and also very dramatic for me. I've been living here since 1979. I have never seen in my entire life so many comments about Puerto Rico in the US press, whether mainstream or alternative, radio programs, TV programs, all over the place people are talking about Puerto Rico. And people in the United States are helping people in Puerto Rico, like for instance, your case. It's been repeated all over, okay? Another good thing that happened at the end of the year, 2017, December 29th, a book was published in Puerto Rico, which it's kind of testimonial of what happened during the worst 2 months of the hurricane, with a photographer. And the writer talks about experiences he had doing those unending lines to get gasoline, food, water, cash, etc. And it's called El Gas en la Fila, which means gas in line. If you want gas, you have to make a line. If you want cash, water, you have to make a line. And he concludes by saying that the catastrophe allowed Puerto Ricans to see each other face to face, bypassing glass, race, gender. They were able to see each other face to face. And in the process, they were forced to rediscover a pronoun that they had forgotten for many years. And it's the pronoun we. So he ends the year with a good note about the most catastrophic experience Puerto Rico has had in the 21st century. Okay. You see a lot of flags in Puerto Rico, Puerto Rican flags that you did not used to see before. And I think it's kind of a healthy sense of nationalism that is saying we are going to survive and we're going to help each other and we're not going to die. Okay? I'm going to finish up with what does Maria, what does it mean? What happened here? And in order to explain my final conclusion about what has happened in Puerto Rico, I'm going to use a term coined by a Canadian writer and journalist. Her name is Naomi Klein. And the term is disaster capitalism. Disaster capitalism is a business that turns calamity into profit. It takes advantage of the catastrophe, and she was very much influenced by Hurricane Mitch in Central America, late 1990s, but not just hurricanes. Catastrophes are also created with political coups, so on and so forth. And what she argues is that when these catastrophic events happen, people are weak and they are more able to accept things that they would not otherwise accept. And she says disaster capitalism sometimes lets the situation get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, so that people are weaker and weaker and weaker. It relies on depopulation. In the case of Puerto Rico, the more people leave the island, the easier it would be for giants like Wall Street to privatize sectors of the Puerto Rican economy. Gentrification, it's connected with depopulation. And my conclusion is that the reason why we have not seen more effective action dealing with the catastrophe, it's because Puerto Rico is going to become part of the patrimony of Wall Street. They want the situation to get worse so that they can go ahead and privatize whatever is not privatized right now. Just about everything, I think, is privatized. Wall Street does not need 3.5 million people. That would be terrible. How about if we reduce it to half of that population? Some people claim that right now many hotels have closed. I think I was talking to someone about tourism. And some people say that those hotels are closed, but they are waiting until people leave and population is reduced, and then they privatize everything, get payment back, and then they take over the tourist industry. And I believe in that narrative. Thank you very much. I hope you have questions, and I'll try to answer them. Yes.
Your sister's house on the 18th floor was okay then?
Yes, her house was okay, even though her neighbor upstairs, her apartment was destroyed. Yeah, yeah. Yes.
Did I understand that under the new tax law that was just adopted, that Puerto Rico was going to be treated as a foreign country?
Okay, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I did not mention it. On top of all the catastrophic reality, there was recently a new change of federal law in the United States, and it's going to worsen the situation in Puerto Rico because it's going to say to Puerto Rico, you are a foreign nation, and you would have to pay 20% of those products you want to send to the U.S., which will destroy whatever is left of the economy of the island. Yes, that on top of everything else, tax laws have turned against, actively against the economy of the island. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much.
Francisco, thank you very much for sharing your insights, and this is certainly a very, very serious, very sobering account of this, and I think we hadn't understood the magnitude of pain and suffering and sorrow in Puerto Rico. Gail Swonka reminded me too that if you would like to donate, we also have a website. You could go to our website and donate through PayPal. So there are other options as well. We know we need to support one another. In solidarity, we remain in solidarity with you all and with your family and community in Puerto Rico. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much as well for attending, and we will stay in touch.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
No, no.